Hi beautiful weirdos, Charlotte here, welcome back to Pretty Scary, and today it is day 6 of my twisted 12 days of Christmas, and it's 6 geese a laying, and after a little bit of research on geese I found out that they have tongues with teeth. Teeth! Who knew? And how creepy is that? Perfect! So if you would like to see what I'm going to do with this weird concept, then stay tuned. And hit the red subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'm going to make a start.
To make the goose tongue mould, I took a piece of Modern Magic and formed into the rough shape I wanted, and then I pulled the sides up with my spatula to make a kind of a tray, and just rounded those off with a brush, a makeup brush. Pinch the end in with the end of a thick makeup brush to make the point of the tongue, and then I added some texture with first of all a stiff brush and then the end of a tail comb. Then I created the ridge at the centre of the tongue by rolling a thin sausage of Modern Magic and sticking this into the centre with a brush, and there we go. And then I put it into a sort of an S shape because I didn't want a straight tongue. And then I added an end piece so that the gelatin wouldn't all run out of the end. Just pinched that in so it was all secure and done, and then I left it to dry. And we need some fake blood, some powdered gelatin, some foundation, a mould, some glycerin, a box and a shot glass. And just pour the gelatin into the shot glass to see how much you have. What you want to do is put the same parts glycerin to gelatin and then 1.5 parts water, and then mix those together. Smells revolting. And then it's time for the microwave. You only want to microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds, just keep an eye on it because it microwaves really quickly. Done. So once it's all liquefied and mixed together, you want to add some colour. So I'm just adding a little bit of fake blood and a pump of foundation. I just want to get a pinky tongue colour. A little bit too red, so I add some foundation, more foundation, which makes it a bit too flesh toned, so I add some more blood, and I think that's about right. And now all that remains is to just pour that into your mould. My mould is made with Modern Magic, which is a foam-like clay, which then just dries, and Bob's your uncle. Once that's dry, you just want to take your tongue out of the mould. You will have to break the mould to do this, but that's not a problem. There we go, one gelatin tongue. Lovely. Now you will just need to trim the edges off. I'm just using some scissors. You can use a craft knife also. And now time for the teeth. I've just cut up some false nails and I'm just kind of slotting them into the gelatin because it's nice and soft, so you can just push them into there and they will stay put. So I've just stuck them all the way down. These are the false nails that I use. Just cut them into shards. There we go, shards. And now that they're all the way down the tongue, I am making a start on the goose beak stroke mouth. Just drawing it out. It's going to be a bit like a kind of a big smile, but it's a beak. You'll see. And using the good old latex and cotton wool technique, just applying a little bit of latex and then a thin strip of cotton wool just to start creating that beak smile thing. Adding some more latex and sculpting with my trusty spatula. It's a little bit like a Chelsea smile, that kind of thing. Same on the other side. Smooth out those edges so it blends nicely with your face. And then just joining those two halves together in the centre with a little bit more cotton wool and latex. And then you just want to leave that to dry, and whilst that's drying you can start painting your face white. I just stippled on with a sponge. I didn't want it to be too kind of finished and polished, so I've left it quite patchy. Then just painting the inside of that beak with a pink water-based paint. And then using an orange to paint those edges and start creating the beak shape around that. I wanted to keep this quite rough. I didn't want it to be a nice smooth looking beak because this is a creepy goose after all. At this point it is looking a little bit like a clown, but bear with me. Just painted the beak up the nose. I used some reference pictures of geese just to see what the shape of their beaks were, and I just kind of roughly based it on this. Went down onto the chin a little bit too, and then painted some orange around the eyes because this is how gooses, their eyes anyway. This is how their eyes look. So yeah, just painted some orange around the goose eyes. And then I took some brown because I wanted to start kind of mucking it up a little bit. Well, not mucking it up, but basically making it look a bit more grungy. I don't want this goose to look too perfect and clean because it's meant to look creepy. So I just went around the edge with a kind of a tan brown around the edge of that beak, smudged it in, and then did the same around the eyes, and then started working on the inside of that beak just to give some more depth. So I'm just putting a dark brown around those edges to give the edges definition and to make the beak look deeper than it actually is. Just put it on with a small brush and then blend in with a larger brush. Did the same around the eyes to add a little bit of depth on those inner corners, and then took some black paint and deepened even more around the inside of that beak. You get the idea, you can see what I'm doing. And then I started stippling some white over the edges of that beak and those eyes just to make them look even more grungy and kind of blended into the face. Then I put some white over the eyelashes because I wanted them to look kind of creepy and ghostly, and over my eyebrows too to blend those a little bit more in. And then started defining around the nostrils to make a kind of a bird-like beaky nostril effect. And painted around the edges a little bit more just to blend that more into the face. And then I started sticking the teeth onto the beak as well to match the tongue, because they do have teeth along the edges of their beaks too. So just dipped each of those in a little bit of latex, wrapped some cotton around, dipped that cotton even in the latex, and then just stuck that on. Used a little bit of extra latex on my spatula just to make sure they're stuck on really firmly. Just sticking the teeth in random places. I didn't want them to be too uniform. And now I'm going in with some alcohol paints and just grunging up that tongue a little bit because it's looking a bit too clean and nice at the moment. So I'm just going in with some mixture of sort of black, yellow and brown around those edges, around the teeth, and down the centre of that tongue too. Using those same colours to stipple around the mouth to make that look even grungier than it already does. Little bit of black alcohol based paint around the inside of that beak to add a little bit more depth and just to blend in those teeth. Some more white around the eyes because I felt these were looking a bit too perfect still, and around the mouth, beak I should say, and then some white through my hair to blend that in and make it look a bit more goosey. And then I went in with my favourite shadow colour, Margot by Laura Mercier, and started grunging up that mouth and those eyes even more with a little bit of shading. Just underneath the eyes too. This just adds a little bit of extra depth and definition and just makes it look even creepier than it already does. And then I went in with a black eyeshadow, it's kind of a smoky black eyeshadow, and just increase the depth of those shadows even more. Just went up the sides of that beak too, just to give a little bit more dimension. And then a little bit more white on the eyelashes because I felt that they just weren't white enough. And along the lower lashes too, and slightly in the waterline. Although this was a bit of a mistake because I ended up with white paint in my eyes, so you're probably better off with a white eyeliner, but it gave a good effect anyway. And then I just went down onto my body with that white paint and just smudged it in my hands because I wanted it to look really messy, grungy, and kind of a bit feathery like. All over my hands too, and I am done.
This is the finished, really proper creepy goose with teeth on its beak and teeth on its tongue. This has turned out way creepier than I thought it was, and creepy equals good. So I hope you like this look. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. Please comment down below and let me know what you thought. Do you think this is as creepy as I think it is? And do you know any other creepy facts about animals? Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 7, which is 7 swans are swimming. So yet another bird, but I promise you that one will be way prettier. And I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow. Mwah.